Folks, I need this man's workout routine. I will commit. I'll commit. But I need the routine. Creed 3 was directed by Michael B. Jordan in his directorial debut, also starring Michael B. Jordan once again as Adonis Creed, and is the third film in the Creed trilogy and the trilogy capper. So this is probably like the end of the line for now. In this one, we follow Creed taking on his old friend, Damian Anderson, played by Jonathan Majors, and there is a lot of unfinished business between them as something happened many, many years ago, and now they have to duke it out in the ring because Damian is sort of a no-holds-barred kind of fighter. He's pretty much ready to, kill you in the ring if he has to, and, well, Adonis can't really have that. Years ago, when the first Creed came out, my first thought to it was, why? I mean, I liked the Rocky movies enough, most of them, but I didn't really understand why we needed a spin-off movie based in the same universe, and I thought, we'll see how it goes. That ended up in my top 5 movies of 2015. Naturally, I was excited to see Creed 2, which I really loved, by the way. A lot of people didn't like Creed 2 for some reason. I found out later on, some critics are very on and off with it. I don't know. And having seen Creed 3 tonight, which was an early screening, which was happening at my neighborhood IMAX, I have to say, it's 3 for 3. I have absolutely been floored by this particular trilogy. I take back any doubts I may have had in 2015 because Michael B. Jordan over here, following in the footsteps of Ryan Coogler and Stephen Caple Jr., has pulled off an incredible film. One that is really, really well shot, first of all, and is the first movie in IMAX, which is a sports movie, which is kind of incredible. And you can tell why this is the format that Michael B. Jordan decided to use, because it's a film that requires that massive canvas to have those fight sequences play out in. And there is a lot of anime influence that he's talked about in his interviews about the film, and you can see that in this movie. There are certain sequences that look like they've been pulled from something like Naruto Shippuden or Dragon Ball Z, and the sort of hints of that are in here, sprinkled in, and that's kind of amazing. There's probably a few more that I missed that he's probably going to bring up as references, and that's pretty remarkable. He did an outstanding job with that. It also helps because he's played the character for a while now, and you can sort of feel like there's an understanding to the directional job he's taken on over here. It feels like he is, understanding exactly how to pull it off now. He's learned a lot from watching, the other two directors work their magic with the first 2 films. But he also pulls a really great performance over here, and sometimes overshadowed by another great Jonathan Majors performance in 2023. Just 2 weeks ago, we had Kang the Conqueror, and now we have Damian Anderson, and he is now 2 for 2. Or 3 for 3. Because there's a movie that came out at Sundance with him as well, which is not going to be out for a while, but apparently this is his year. And so far, he has proven himself to be a hell of a talent. He is outstanding in Creed 3. And he is a great antagonist with a very understandable approach to why he's doing what he's doing. Granted, it's one of, a severe approach at that, because he's not exactly a very fair fighter at times. But at the same time, he's been through a lot, which has resulted in him becoming who he is. And I'm not going to go into spoilers, of course, but I think the storytelling on display over here makes sure all of those things come together really, really well. The supporting characters, Tessa Thompson, once again, is terrific. And you get some really great stuff with the characterization of each. They have a daughter, obviously, as you remember the second film. And there are some scenes between Creed and his daughter, who is deaf, which are beautiful. There's a couple of sequences where she wants to learn how to fight, and it's done entirely in ASL, and it's wonderfully done. It was one of my favorite aspects of the film. That handling was really, really heartfelt and very beautifully written and directed. It has another amazing soundtrack. This score is not by Ludwig Göransson. I mean, the man has his hands full at the moment, I understand. But I believe the man who did it is also the man who composed the Book of Boba Fett for the majority of it, Joseph Shirley. He did a great job over here, carries a lot of the themes which Creed had in the first 2 films into this one. You don't hear the Rocky theme because Rocky's not in this movie. If you remember Creed 2, he retired. He was out of the boxing scene. He was done. But the movie has a few, mentions to the fact that he's in here. But I think it works because Creed, as much as I love the first two movies, after the second one, I said, all right, you got to get out of his shadow. You have to try doing something now, which is, not necessarily going to be under what Rocky Balboa has done before. And so I really like that aspect of the film. It sort of gave Creed his own time to shine, along with that storytelling on display. There are some predictable beats that it did hit. I will say that. There were a couple of points where I was like, yeah, that's going to probably be a thing because they've set it up accordingly, and there's some, the things that happen early on in the film, and I thought, well, that's going to factor into this somehow eventually. So you could definitely, there's a couple of scenes where you'll be like, I saw that coming, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker. It's just one of those things where if you're one of those people who talks about movies on the internet, such as myself, you'll probably be noticing it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't stop the movie from being really, really good and a hell of a great time. And I highly recommend seeing it in IMAX because I think it really captures that scale fantastically. And some of those, creative choices and stylistic editing picks that, Michael B. Jordan has used in order to make the movie, I think they really pop on screen. It's a fantastic trilogy capper. It's one of the best in that Rocky series now, I think, easily. And I honestly will see another one if he decides to do it. I mean, I don't know if they have plans to do it right now, but we'll see. The door is open if they ever want to consider making a fourth one. I'm going to give Creed 3 a 9 out of 10. Probably my favorite movie of the year so far. I absolutely loved this thing. I can't wait to see it again. Audience was having a good time too. And for a movie that's screened at 10 p.m., that is the most packed I have seen a theater in my entire life for a 10 p.m. showing. So credit over there where it's due. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the Creed movie so far. If you have seen Creed 3, because there were a few early screenings, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Are you excited to see the movie? Let me know that accordingly as well. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.